Well, if you've been following along with me in this chapter, you've been creating TOC books, topics, adding topics to those TOC books, and believe it or not, that is the basis behind most RoboHelp HTML projects. But for the project to really work properly if viewed by users, you have to generate the project, also known as compiling. And that's what we're going to do right now, continuing to work with our How to Use Lynda.com project. For this to work, you're going to have to make sure your single source layouts pod is visible. If it's not, click the view menu to make it visible. And we're going to keep it simple for now. We're going to go down to our primary layout, Microsoft HTML Help, and select it. So you can click the icon. You don't really need to change anything with the name. All you want to do is make sure it's selected before you generate the output. And to do that, it's really quite simple. The third button here on the toolbar inside the pod is Generate Layout. When you click this button, you'll see the HTML Help Options dialog appear where you get to choose the location. Where are you going to generate the end product? Notice it ends with a CHM extension. So you can browse like I have to the desktop or somewhere else on your computer. It's up to you. Now down below you can see the table of contents here. We can click this to go from the default table of contents to any of the other table of contents we've created, such as our web help. In this case, we don't want to use the printed version. We're going to go to the web help, and we'll forget about index, glossary, etc. for now because we haven't worked with those yet. So we have enough to generate the project at this point. All you have to do is go down to the bottom and click Save and Generate. Now it's fairly small at this point, so it won't take very long before you see this dialog indicating that it has been built successfully, and we can actually view it directly from here by clicking View Result. This will open up the window. And you can see we've got our Contents tab, the Search tab for searching for contents that are in our topics already. And if you want, you can double-click the books to open them up and go to a specific topic by clicking it and viewing it over here on the right-hand side. And that's your very first RoboHelp project. You can close it up by clicking the Close button. And every time you make changes, additions to your project, and you want to see what it's going to look like, you need to generate it. Of course, at the very end, when you're done, you'll generate it one last time for your viewers. Now, if you do want to see your project in that generated layout, you can. Of course, it's been saved to the location you specified. So, for example, if I was to minimize RoboHelp, I can see it right there on my desktop. Double-clicking it is going to open it. That's one option. Or if you're using RoboHelp and you're working away and you want to see it, you can also make sure it's selected here in the single source layouts pod. And there is a button for viewing the layout. Click the view button and it'll pop up right here on top of RoboHelp so you can check it out, see if everything looks just the way you want before closing it up and continuing to work on the project. Of course, there's a lot more to come with generating your projects, a lot of more options, a lot more details that we need to discuss, but that's all coming up a little later on in this title.